Burton waits for the 2-1 pitch. Here it is. He swings and he misses. Strike two. Ernie Banks on deck. Ball two, strike two, the count on Ellis Burton. Runners first and third, none out. Ninth inning, Cubs 3, Reds nothing. The 2-2 pitch by Worthington, a swing and a pop-up in the infield. Third baseman Neal moves down the line in foul territory, and he'll make the play. He does. Foul about halfway home. So Burton fouls out. That's a big out for Worthington. And here's Banks, hitless in this one. Struck out, grounded out, and flied out. In the first game today, Banks had 1 out of 3 and a run batted in. So he's 1 for 6 in the doubleheader. Worthington has called time. He's tying his shoelace out of the mound. Ninth inning, 3-0 Cubs. They've out-hit the Reds 8-2 in this game. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul off the end of the bat down the first base line. Williams on third, Santo on first. 1 out in the ninth. Banks waves that bat around at home plate. Here's the stretch by Worthington. And the 0-1 delivery, a swing and a foul ball on the roof above first base. 2 strikes on Ernie Banks. Charlie Neal, Leo Cardenas, Pete Rose, and Marty Keogh around the infield. Looking ahead just briefly into the last half of the ninth inning, Robinson, Keogh, and Edwards are due up in that order for the Cincinnati Reds. So another run or two wouldn't hurt. Here's the 0-2 pitch. A swing and a long drive deep to left field. It's well hit, but Skinner's going back. It's going to score Williams. Skinner makes the catch. His throw's going to go to second base. And here's Williams coming in, and it's 4-0 Cubs. Banks gets an RBI with a sacrifice fly to Skinner in left field. Billy Williams crosses the plate, run number 1 off Worthington, and the Cubs are now in front 4-0. Santo, of course, stayed at first base. Now there are 2 out. Banks has driven in a run in each game with a sacrifice fly. Merritt Renew has grounded out twice and struck out. He's now hitting .340. Here's the pitch to him, and a curveball is taken for a strike. 0-1. Well, I hope that Ron Soren and the boys back in Chicago are enjoying the broadcast. Great Cub fans. Here's a liner caught by the shortstop. Leo Cardenas, like a jack-in-the-box, jumped up right at his position there and grabbed that line drive to retire Renew. So the Cubs in the ninth inning got a run on 2 hits and a sacrifice fly, and 1 man was left on base. Now we go to the last half of the ninth inning, and the Chicago Cubs are leading Cincinnati 4-0. Lou?
Well, fans, after you choose your car, the most important thing you want to know about is financing. And that's where your friendly Chicagoland Buick dealer can really help you. You see, your Buick dealer has been in the business for years, and he's earned his franchise by proving his ability to be a man you can count on. He knows financing. He can help you select the financing plan that's tailored to your individual needs. He'll help you choose the plan that saves you the most. Your Buick dealer is your neighbor. He wants to be your friend for years to come. That's why he's always happy to help you with any question you have. That's why he's known as the man you can trust. Next time you have a question or want financing help, see your friendly Chicagoland Buick dealer, the man you can trust.
Frank Robinson leads off the ninth inning for Cincinnati. He's walked twice and popped up to Brock, his only official at bat in this game. Robinson's 0 for 5 in the doubleheader. Paul Toth, with a 2-hit shutout, is leading 4-0 as we go to the bottom of the ninth inning. Wind up on the pitch to Robinson, and he takes outside low, ball 1. He'll be followed by Keogh and then Edwards. Mets are batting, bottom of the 7th, trailing the Dodgers now 3-2. Drysdale pitched a shutout in game 1, 7-0 over Al Jackson. Here's a strike called, Robinson taking it. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's the last of the ninth. Cubs 4, Cincinnati nothing. Cubs won the first game 2-1. Here's the windup and the 1-1 pitch. Curve low in the dirt. Ball 2, strike 1. McDaniel keeping warm just in case down in the bullpen. Well, Toth never pitched any better baseball than he has here today against a good-hitting Cincinnati team. Here's the pitch. Swing and a ground ball to third. Santo, nice play to his left. The throw to Banks, he's out. Sharply hit ball. Santo moved like a cat going to his left and gobbled it up and threw to Banks, and there's 1 out in the 9th inning. Here's Marty Keough. He's 0 for 3. Popped up twice to Santo and fly deep to Billy Williams in the left field corner. 1 out, none on. Cubs leading 4-0 over the Cincinnati Reds. Toth winding. Here's the pitch on the way. And it's a strike-up fastball. He looks as sharp now, Toth does, as he did early in the ball game. He's pitched a tremendous game. He's given up a single in the 3rd inning to Pete Rose and a double in the 7th to Leo Cardenas. Here's a swing and a miss at a curveball. Strike 2 on Keough. Johnny Edwards swinging a bat around in the on-deck area. Here's a swing, a ground foul past the first base coach down the line, out of play. 2 strikes to count on Keough. Hope you'll be out at Wrigley Field Tuesday in person to greet the Cubs as they open up the 12-game homestand with Pittsburgh. And if you can't make it in person, then do join us on WGN Tuesday at 1:15. Curveball low, 1-2. Renew's caught a fine doubleheader today. Ball 1, strike 2, the count on Marty Keough. He waits. Wind up by Toth, and here's the pitch. A changeup popped up. Short right center. Brock moving in. Burton moving in. Brock says, I'll handle it. He's there, and he does. 2 away. Boy, there have been a lot of pop-ups today in the infield and the outfield with Toth pitching. 2 gone. Here's John Edwards. He's 0 for 3. Boy, I'll tell you, anytime you hold this Cincinnati club to 1 run in 18 innings, you've done a good job, and the Cubs have done just that so far. Edwards hit a home run in the first game, and that's the only run Cincinnati's made all afternoon. Here's the windup by Toth and the pitch to John Edwards. A swing and a foul ball back on the roof behind the plate. 1 strike. Paul Toth within 1 out of his 4th victory and his first ever against Cincinnati. Here's the pitch. Curve low inside. Ball 1, strike 1, the count. Toth looking in, getting his sign. Here's the windup by the Cub right-hander. 1-1 delivery. Curve swung on, a ground ball hit to right field. Johnny Edwards hits a ground single into right between Hubbs and Banks. That's only the 3rd hit by Cincinnati. And it brings up the shortstop, Leo Cardenas, who's been safe on an error, tapped to the pitcher, and doubled down the first base line. So Toth has just allowed his 3rd hit of the day, and the Reds have a man on base with 2 out in the last half of the 9th. The Cubs are leading 4-0. Swing and a high fly ball down the right field line, but curving foul. Brock is over, can't get it. It's about 4 rows up out of play. Paul Toth pitched a shutout on the 4th of July at Wrigley Field against the New York Mets for his shutout, and he could have another one here in this ball game. There's a man on first and 2 out in the 9th, and the Cubs are leading 4-0. Toth is set, pitch to Cardenas, curveball down low. 1-1 the count. Here's the stretch. And the pitch. And it's low again. 2-1 on Leo Cardenas. And Merritt Renew calls time. He goes out. He's going to talk with Toth. He got the first two men easily. Robinson grounded out, and Keogh popped up to right field. But then Edwards smashed a single to right. And now he's 2-1 with Chico Cardenas. Lindy McDaniel warming up down here in the bullpen. O'Toole warming up in the Reds bullpen. The stretch by Paul Toth and the 2-1 pitch to Cardenas. A swing and a smash off the pitcher's foot into center field for a base hit. Edwards stops at second. Cardenas gets his second straight hit and the fourth hit off Toth as he smashed one right off the pitcher's foot into center field, putting Edwards at second and Cardenas on first, and bringing to the plate now Charlie Neal. 2 on and 2 out. Toth had allowed only 2 hits until this ninth inning, but with 2 out in the ninth, Edwards and Cardenas have put back-to-back singles together, and now the Reds are putting up a mild threat. Cubs lead 4-0. 2 out in the bottom of the ninth. Now Charlie Neal. He's lined hard to left, lined to short, and popped up to second. He swings and he misses a fastball, strike one. Williams deep in left, Burton in center. Brock fairly shallow out there in right field. 1 strike to count on Charlie Neal. Edwards leads off at second. Cardenas leads off at first. Here's the pitch. A swing and a tap foul behind the plate. 2 strikes. And now Toth has jumped way out in front of the batter. He has him 0-2. Best car, best buy, your Chicagoland Buick dealer. 2 strikes on Charlie Neal. Yankees 3, White Sox 1, bottom of the 5th. Yankees won the opener, 8-2. 2 strikes on Neal. He waits. Here's Toth's next pitch. A swing and a ground ball to Gramis. He has it. Here's the throw over to Banks, and the Cubs win a doubleheader. Neal has just grounded out Gramis to Banks, and Toth is being congratulated by Renew, by Banks, by Santo, by Gramis. Here's Bob Kennedy coming out of the dugout to shake hands with his pitcher. Did a great job with a 4-hit shutout over the hard-hitting Cincinnati Reds. Dick Ellsworth goes out of the dugout and shakes his hand. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left on. I have the totals in a moment, but the Cubs, after winning Game 1, come back to also win the second game here at Crosley Field behind Paul Toth, 4-0. Remember that old saw about the used car that was only driven by a little old lady on Sundays? Well, most of us know that isn't true, but when it comes to buying cars, the safest bet is to buy from someone you know, a friend. And Cub fans, that's what your Chicagoland Buick dealer is, a friend you can trust. Your Buick dealer has been in the neighborhood for years, and he plans to stay for years more. That's why he works hard to give you the kind of used car you want at a price you'd like to pay. He makes sure the double-check Suprema used car you choose is ready to give you mile after mile of driving pleasure. And your Buick dealer gives you a big advantage a personal friend can't give you, a choice of financing that lets you save dollars, lets you enjoy a fine car when you want it. I think you'll like buying your car at your friendly Chicagoland Buick dealer, and I know you'll drive it with confidence. Your Kennedy.
This game is being played in Bristol, September the 2nd.
And this is the first game of the Labor Day doubleheader. Here's Kenny Huff stepping into the batter's box to open the ninth inning for the Cubs. So far today, Hubbs has 1 for 3, a single that drove a run in back in the first inning. He's also had a run. Here's the windup and Lindsay's first pitch. A fastball hit foul over at the third base coach's box. Down into the Giant bullpen for strike 1. Cubs have 7 runs and 11 hits, and they've made 4 errors. The Giants have 5 runs, 11 hits, and they've made 1 error. Lindsay winding. Here's the pitch. Curve, slap foul off to the right this time. Back into the grandstand seats. 2 strikes on Hubbs. Ernie Banks on deck. Cubs hold a slight edge over the Giants in the season play this year. 8 victories to 7. Cubs have won only 2 out of 6 at Candlestick, though. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Hubbs, and he takes a fastball outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Here's the windup and the pitch. Swing and a miss on an inside fastball, and Hubbs goes down swinging. Well, that is the 10th strikeout against the Cubs today, the first by Lindsey. And it brings Ernie Banks to the plate for the first time today. Banks is hitting .230, 18 homers, 64 RBIs. Down here in a front row seat right behind the Giant dugout is Buck Shaw, one of the great all-time names in football at Notre Dame and in college and in the pro ranks. Here's the windup and the pitch to Banks, and he swings and fouls it behind the plate. Shaw was the first football coach at the Air Force Academy when Bob Whitlow was the athletic director at the Air Force Academy. One strike on Banks with one out in the ninth. Lined up, here's the pitch. Check this swing, the pitch is low, ball one and strike one. Looking ahead into the last half of the ninth inning, Cepeda, Davenport, and Hiller are due up in that order. Cubs lead 7-5. We're in the top of the ninth. Here's the pitch to Ernie Banks, and he takes low for a ball. 2-1. Banks went into the game as a replacement for John Bacabella in the bottom of the eighth. Bacabella did all right for himself today. Struck out, singled, walked, and flied to center in his first major league ball game. The 2-1 pitch to Banks, cut on and popped up. Out behind shortstop, left fielder coming on. McCovey there. Shortstop says, take it, and McCovey does in short left field. So Banks flies out to McCovey in shallow left. 2 out on the night. Bertel is up. He's 0 for 4. Popped up, struck out, flied out twice. The Cubs 7 and the Giants 5 here, folks, in the top of the ninth inning. Oak Park Federal is your host. Frank Lindsey on the mound goes into the windup. Here's the pitch to Bertel. And he throws an inside fastball at his knees for ball one. Well, why not make plans to welcome the Cubs back to Wrigley Field on September the 13th? Cubs will be opening a weekend series against the Cincinnati Reds on the 13th. Here's a bouncing ball down the first base line. It's fair. It's bobbled by Cepeda. He picks it up and throws to the pitcher covering, and he bobbled the throw, but he still hung on to it, and Bertel still wasn't halfway to first base, and they get him. The play one, Cepeda to Lindsey covering the bag. 3 up and 3 down in the top of the ninth inning for the Chicago Cubs. So now, fans, we go to the bottom of the ninth. Giants coming to bat, and the score, Cubs 7, Giants 5. All right, Lou.
Well, nearly 30 years of savings specialism, a $100 and almost $70 million strength, a high gratifying return with the payment of earnings 4 times a year, conservative management, a non-fluctuating stability, and the easy-chair convenience of saving by mail. These are the advantages that lie behind the Oak Park Federal ability to help you reach your savings goals quickly, safely, and simply. A high profit keeps your dollars working steadily for you. Quarterly payments of earnings make saving all the more profitable, all the more convenient. And in all the world, there is no safer place, no easier way to save than saving by mail with the Save by Mail leader, Oak Park Federal Savings. Send your name and address on a postcard or call Euclid 35000 for complete savings information. Oak Park Federal Savings at 1001 Lake Street, Oak Park, Illinois.
Well, we're going into the bottom of the ninth, so fasten your seatbelts. Cepeda will lead off, and he's had 2 for 4. And he's driven in a run. Cubs 7, Giants 5, last half of the ninth inning here in game 1. Cepeda bends down, he gets a handful of dirt. Now he's in the batter's box waiting, and McDaniel looks him over. Here's McDaniel getting the sign from Bertel. Cepeda calls time. He's out of the batter's box for a second. This has been a very long 9-inning ball game. 3 hours and 10 minutes up to this point. It's been a little bit wild. There have been 22 hits, 5 errors, 12 runs. Here's the first pitch to Cepeda, and it's in for a strike, so he gets the 9th inning underway with a called strike 1. Stay tuned now for the musical scoreboard between games, and then news from our studios in Chicago, and then back out here for game number 2. One strike on Orlando Cepeda. Jim Davenport is on deck. Lined up by McDaniel. Here's the pitch. Inside, he almost hit him with a fastball in on his elbow. 1 ball and 1 strike on Cepeda. He carried a .305 average into the ballpark with him today. And he's had 2 for 4, a pair of singles. Williams deep in left, Burton deep in center, Brock deep in right. 1-1 delivery, a swing and a miss by Cepeda, going all the way around for strike 2. One ball and 2 strikes. Nobody on and nobody out. The last of the 9th. Cepeda levels that stick over the plate. McDaniel has his sign. Big Lindy goes into the windup. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Cepeda, and he swings and pops it up out near second base. Ken Hubbs moves back. He's under the ball, and he grabs it for out number 1. Cepeda pops up. Here's Davenport. He's had 1 out of 3 is single, plus a sacrifice. 1 out, none on, last half of the 9th. Cubs 7 and the Giants 5. Cubs left 9 men on in this game. And the Giants have left 11 on so far. First pitch is a strike at his knees, fastball. McDaniel whining, 0-1 to Davenport. There's a breaking ball low outside. Ball 1 and strike 1. Chuck Hiller's on deck. The Cubs led most of the way. Very briefly, the game was tied 3-3, but it didn't last long. Here's the windup, 1-1 to Davenport. A swing. He wasn't ready to hit it, but he went after it anyway, and it's ball 1 and strike 2. Davenport waves that bat around. There's a ball down low, fork ball in the dirt, 2-2. Got an engineer here, Lou, who will run you a very close battle in the grocery department, I'll tell you that. 2-2 pitch to Davenport, cut on and hit foul on the ground to the left. And the count is still 2-2 on Davenport.
Listen, I don't think I'm close to our engineer.
No, I'm right next to him. You're over there, but as far as...
Oh, Monty can outdo me at that plate, boy.
Here's the windup, 2-2 pitch to Davenport. Swinging a ground ball to short. Rogers up with it, throws over to Banks, and they're 2 gone in the bottom of the 9th. 1 more and it's over. The batter is Chuck Hiller. 1 for 4. A single in the 4th inning. He's also grounded out twice and struck out. Well, McDaniel is 1 out away from giving Ellsworth his 20th victory of the year. 2 out in the bottom of the 9th. Cubs lead 7-5. And there's a strike, a fastball at his letters. 0-1 to Chuck Hiller. The man on the hook is Gaylord Perry of the Giants. Here's a swing, a ground ball to third. Santo traps it on a short hop, throws to first. Cubs win 7-5. Hiller bounced out, Santo to Banks to retire the side. No trouble at all in the bottom of the 9th inning. That's only the 2nd time all day that the Giants were retired 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on. I'll have the totals in a moment. The Cubs have started off this road trip on a happy note by beating the Giants 7-5 in the first game of this Labor Day doubleheader. Another of the several things that set Oak Park Federal apart is that save by mail at the house that's security built. You simply fill out a form that's attached to the back of your postage-free save by mail envelope. Enclose your check and your account book and drop it into the mail. It's the easy chair way to attend to your savings business, the world's most convenient way to add to or withdraw from your account. So for complete information, folks, and the envelope with which to open your Save by Mail account, simply send your name and address on a postcard to Oak Park Federal Savings, 1001 Lake Street, Oak Park, Illinois. Let's take a look at the totals in this ballgame. The Cubs won it by a score of 7-5. For the Cubs, 7 runs, 11 hits, 4 errors, with 9 men left on base. For the Giants, 5 runs, 11 hits, 1 error, and 11 men left on base. The winning pitcher, Dick Ellsworth, he's now 20-7. McDaniel saved it for him, and I noticed Ellsworth was still on the bench. He was in the dugout when the final out was recorded. He did not go to the clubhouse after being taken out of the game in the 7th inning. He stayed right there and watched the finish. The loser is Gaylord Perry, and his record now is 1-6, and the time of the ball game was 3 hours and 15 minutes. Cubs had 10 men left on base, and the Giants left 11 men on base. So that's it in game 1, Lou, and now with Hobby coming back in the second game against Jack Fisher, let's hope we have just as happy a story to tell later on this afternoon.
Well, in recapping the first game, I would say the illness of Mays certainly helped the Cubs to defeat the Giants, because Mays becoming ill and dizzy at the plate with the bases loaded in the 4th inning. And then Peterson, of course, pinch hitting for Mays, and Peterson is no Willie Mays, especially in that situation, and Peterson grounded out to end the threat. And then Peterson went into left field when Dark moved Keene to right and Philippe Alou into center field, and the collision between Pagan and Peterson in left field, which enabled the Cubs to score 2 runs and give the Cubs a 6-5 lead when they added to that 6-5 lead in the 8th to defeat the Giants in the first game here 7-5. So Ellsworth winning his 20th game of the year, of course, got excellent help and in relief work of McDaniel, and certainly he should be congratulated to become one of the first left-handers in the Cub organization for a number of years to reach the coveted 20-game victory string.
1919, Lou. Last time it was done by a lefty. Jim Vaughn did it in 1919. He's the first Cub left-hander now to win 20 since way back in 1919, the year that you broke in with Cleveland. So we hope now that Hobby can do the same thing in the second game, that we can get out of here with a double victory on Labor Day. This first game's been brought to you by Old Style, the beer that's cool brewed.
Brock will lead off. Cubs lead 6-0. They've out-hit the Giants 10-1. A great day for the Cubs. Ellsworth won his 20th game in the opener, 7-5. Hobby pitching the best game of the season here in the nightcap. Now Lou Brock takes a curveball for a strike from Stanek. Brock has 2 for 4 in this game. He's had 4 out of 9 in the doubleheader. Cub outfielder bends down, gets a handful of dirt there at home plate. We're just starting the 9th inning at Candlestick Park. Here's the pitch on the way. And it's a check swing, and a ball hit the outside corner for strike 2 call. Brock looks back at umpire Smith. He didn't think so. Stanek winding, 0-2 pitch to Brock, and he swings and bounces one foul over to the right. It is still 0-2. Rogers will hit next, and then Burton. Wind up by Stanek, the 0-2 pitch. Swing, foul ball, back into the crowd behind home plate. It's still 0-2. Harvey Keene at third, Pagan at short, Hiller at second, Cepeda at first. Wind up by Stanek, the 0-2 pitch to Brock, a curve pop foul. It's going to be out of play, though, back behind the Cubs dugout on the third base side. Still 0-2. The big inning was the 5th. Cubs got 5 runs, 4 of them on Santos' grand slam homer. He had homered earlier in the 4th inning with none on. So he has been the big stick in this ball game for the Cubs. Here's the pitch to Brock, fouled out of play to the left. Lou hanging in there against lefty Al Stanek. No balls, 2 strikes. Brock waits. The windup. Here's the pitch on the way, and he swings and misses. He strikes him out. That's the second time Brock has struck out. Strikeout number 2 by Stanek. 7th strikeout against the Cubs. 1 away. Here's Rogers. He's had 2 out of 3 plus a walk. Cincinnati shut out the Mets 1-0. Maloney won his 20th game of the year. For the Reds, 1 run, 4 hits. For the Mets, no runs, 3 hits. Cincinnati got the game's only run in the first inning. Here's the pitch to Rogers, and he swings and lifts the drive deep to right center. Haller and Alou are going back. Haller makes a nice catch right in front of the warning track in deep right center field. They might have found a new outfielder. 2 gone. So it's a split for the Mets and the Reds. Mets won the opener, but Maloney comes back to gain his 20th victory and give Cincinnati a split. 2 gone, Burton's up. He's had 1 out of 4, a bunt single in the 7th inning. Wind up, the pitch to Ellis Burton. Swing and a smash, a liner right back to the pitcher, and he caught it. Retires the side. Burton lined right back into the glove of Stanek, and in the top of the 9th for the Cubs, 3 up and 3 down. No runs, no hits. Nobody left on base. Now we go to the last half of the 9th inning with the Giants coming to bat, and it's the score, Cubs 6, Giants nothing.
Well, say, fans, ever come out to a ball game, turn your head for a second and miss the greatest play of the day? Well, nobody likes to miss a good thing. That's why I want to be sure to remind you, the special introductory sale of Serta Ortholex mattresses will end September 30th. So if you're in the market for a really new mattress and want to save yourself a real chunk of money, better buy yours now while the introductory price of only $39.75 is still in effect. Remember, the Ortholux is a brand new Serta mattress specially designed to give you both firm ortho support for your back and the heavenly comfort besides. And even though it has features usually found only in mattresses costing $59.50, the money-saving introductory sale price is now only $39.75. But the sale ends September 30th, so better buy now. In Chicago or suburbs or in Milwaukee, get your new Serta Ortholex mattress at any Nelson Brothers furniture store. In Belvedere, Illinois, at Clanning Furniture, or other fine Serta dealers everywhere. That's S like in sleep, S-E-R-T-A, Serta.
Last of the 9th inning, folks. Harvey Keene leads off for the Giants. He's lined twice to Lou Brock in right field and walked his other time up. Glenn Hobby with a 6-0 lead winds and fires, and Keene takes a slider for a strike called. It's 0-1. Tomorrow afternoon, 2:45 airtime on WGN. Marichal against the Cubs' Larry Jackson. Here's the pitch. Inside fastball. He almost stepped into it. Ball 1 and strike 1. Ball game in the bottom of the 9th. It's now or never for the Giants. Hobby's pitched a 1-hitter. Wind up. 1-1 delivery to Harvey Keene. Change up, popped up, short left field, shortstop out. Rogers waves Williams off. Rogers is there and he's got it. 1 out on the bottom of the 9th. It brings up Hiller. He's 0 for 3. He's lined to center field, flied out and grounded out. 1 out, not on. Remember now, up until 10:30 tonight on WGN, you'll hear a combination of reports from the WGN Traffic Copter, the airplane, and the WGN Traffic Central. All evening long until 10:30, covering traffic conditions in Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Michigan, which will interest all you folks who are driving back home after the long Labor Day weekend. Chuck Hiller's up with 1 out, and here's the pitch to him. There's a fastball for a strike at his belt. 0-1. Hiller, a left-handed batter, swings and he misses for strike 2. 0-2 the count on the Giants' second baseman. Here's Hobby's overhand curveball, dives low and inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 out, none on, bottom of the 9th. Cubs 6, Giants nothing. Cubs won the opener 7-5. Ellsworth the winner over reliever Gaylord Perry. Glenn Hobby checks a sign with Renew. Pumps and fires 1 and 2, and Hiller pops it up foul. It's going to be out of play. Renew chases it, but the ball is going to land in the second row behind the dugout. Over here on the third base side. 1-2 the count. Chuck Hiller trying to get something started. Manager Al Dark of the Giants has been conspicuous by his absence here in the second game. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way now, and there's a curve, strike 3 called. Hiller is called out on strikes, the third strikeout by Hobby. And with 2 out, here's McCovey. He's grounded out twice and lined to center field. 1 more, and Hobby will have a great victory. The hit that he gave up was a solid single to center by Philippe Alou leading off the third inning. There was no fluke, no doubt about it. It was a solid hit to center field. It dropped in front of Burton out there. The only hit Hobby's allowed to the hard-hitting San Francisco ball club. Here's a drive, a high fly ball to deep right. The wind is carrying it. Brock is at the screen. He's going to catch it, I think. He leaps up. He can't get it. It hits the top of the screen. McCovey rounding second. He's going to third. Here's the throw. He's in there standing up. McCovey triples off the top of the screen in right field. Only the second hit off Hobby in this game. It comes with 2 out in the ninth, and the Cubs leading 6-0. Brock looked before he leaped like he was going to catch that ball without jumping. At the last second he leaped up, the ball was over his glove and hit the top of the screen, and Vic McCovey lumbered into third base with a stand-up triple. Here's Ed Bailey. He's 0 for 3. Grounded out twice and flied to left. Serta Mattress Company is your host. Hobby winds and he fires, and there's Bailey taking a slider for a strike in the inside corner. 0-1. Fred Flagg at the National League office out here today. Hobby working with a man on third. Wind up. Here's the pitch on the way. Change up, swung on, popped up. This ought to do it. Lou Brock is moving over. Now he comes in a few feet. He's under the ball, and he makes the catch, and Hobby has shut out the Giants 6-0 on 2 hits. Bailey flies out to Brock in right field, and the Cubs have won a doubleheader here today, folks. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left on. So the Cubs won a pair, 7-5 and 6-0. I'll have the totals on the second game in just a moment. Lou, would you find me throwing $20 out of this broadcast booth?
Are you kidding, buddy? In fact, I can't even remember the last time you paid for a hot dog.
Well, I guess nobody's got $20 to throw away, really. And fans, if you're in the market for an extra long mattress and box spring, why pay $20 extra? Even though other leading manufacturers charge $20 extra a set for extra long, Serta always offers extra long perfect sleeper mattresses and box springs at no extra cost. So for an extra long mattress and box spring, for more comfort, more support, more for your money, insist on the one and only Serta Perfect Sleeper. It's the one that always offers you extra length at no extra cost. In Chicago and suburbs, see your Serta mattress man now and save your $20 at any Weebolt's department store. In Gary, Indiana, at Radigan Brothers, or at other fine Serta dealers everywhere. Here are the totals in game number 2. A shutout for Glenn Hobby, a brilliant 2-hitter against the Giants. Final score 6-0. For the Cubs, 6 runs, 10 hits, no errors, 6 men left on. For the Giants, no runs, 2 hits, no errors, 4 men left on. The winner, Glenn Hobby. He is now 1-6 and lost 9. The loser for San Francisco, Jack Fisher. His record now 6-10. Time of the game, 2 hours, 10 minutes. This victory in the second game can all be wrapped up in 2 words. Hobby, Santo. Those are the 2 who did it. Hobby pitched the Cubs to the win, and Santo hit the Cubs to the victory. A great day, Lou. Labor Day here in San Francisco. I imagine the Giants really feel that they were laboring now.
Well, it's a great day regardless of where you can win to or who you can win them against, Jack. As you mentioned, it was all Hobby and Santo. Santo with the bat, Hobby's arm to bring the Cubs a great double victory here on Labor Day over the Giants.
Well, drive the best car and save the most. When it comes to cars, come to Buick. Visit your friendly Chicagoland Buick dealer. And also, the Serta Mattress Company. Remember, for the best mattress value in every price range, insist on a Serta. Fine bedding for over 85 years. This really makes it tough on the Giants now because they have dropped some very valuable ground in their chase to repeat as National League champions. As I say, mathematically, they're far from out of it, but they have a terrific uphill climb now, and the Cubs are in high gear. They're moving along in great shape. They have won their last 3 series from the Mets, from the Phillies, and from the Colts, and they've opened up by winning the first 2 games of this 3-game series at Candlestick Park. Now this is Jack Quinlan saying so long for Lou Boudreau and myself. We'll see you tomorrow at 2:45 Chicago time as the Cubs go with Jackson against Marichal in an attempt to sweep the whole 3-game set from the Giants.